Hey guys, it's Mary and welcome back to Study Journey. Welcome back to the Python series. This is the last episode of the Hangman game, and if you haven't watched previous episodes, make sure to go check them out. They're all in this playlist below. And in this game, we're going to be coding the last part of the Hangman game. So we're going to be doing show possible matches and then putting everything together. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Now that we have matched with gaps, we can do the last part of our Hangman with hints, which is showing the possible matches. So actually representing these possible matches and giving it to the user when they run the asterisk. So how this works is it says that show possible matches takes a single parameter, my word. So I'm going to define show possible matches with the parameter my word. So what this does is the function should print out all of the words in word list that match my word. So first, word list, we're going to load the words into the word list. Load words. And now that we have the words loaded, we have to see if the possible word passes through match with gaps. So for possible word in word list, so for every possible word in the word list, then we're going to see if match with gaps passes, because we know match with gaps returns either true or false. So this if statement is only going to keep on going if what it has inside is going to be true. So if we match with gaps and we compare the my word with a possible word, and it runs through, then we're going to print out the possible word, because it is a possible word, and otherwise we just won't print it out. So basically what this does is, first of all, we loaded the words into the word list, and then after that, for every possible word in the word list, we run match with gaps, and if it passes match with gaps, comparing my word with a possible word, then we're going to print out the possible word. Now that we have this, we can put it into our actual code. So I'm going to go into CS Practice and open my hangman.py file. And I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and just above Hangman with hints, right here, I'm going to copy over my code for Hangman with hints. Now that we have this code, we can actually implement it into our function. So first of all, in the beginning, it's just basic stuff, and then it says input, please guess a letter. And here is where the user guesses a letter. So if the current guess is a letter, then it runs this, and otherwise it doesn't run that. Okay, so before we do all of this, we can run our code for the show possible matches if the user's guesses an asterisk. So before we start seeing if the guess is a letter, we can first see if the current guess is an asterisk. So if it is an asterisk, if the current guess is an asterisk, then we're going to show the possible matches. And then the parameter is supposed to be my word. But here we don't know exactly what my word is. So we can write my word in a different way, because my word, we just get our guess word. And that is what our my word is. And then how we got it, the two parameters were a secret word and then the letters guessed. So now that we have this, if the current guess is an asterisk, so if the user inputs an asterisk, then we're going to give it a list of all the possible words. Otherwise, we're going to run the rest of this function. So I'm going to Command S, save it, and then go to my terminal. Remember, hangman.py is in the directory or the folder CS Practice. So I'm going to change directory into CS Practice, and then open this Python 3 file, hangman.py. And it works. So we're going to guess a few letters. Okay, so now let's say I just don't know what to guess. So I'm just going to run the asterisk and see what happens. And it gives a list of all the possible words. And it's always a good idea to make sure you guess some letters first before you use the asterisk, so I'm just going to rerun it again. So if we don't do that, and if we just run the Hangman, and then the first thing we guess is an asterisk, then it's going to give you literally every single word because there's nothing to base it off of, and we don't want this because this is definitely no help. So make sure to always guess some stuff, or have the user, when you're playing the game, you're going to guess some things before this happens. So we have just finished coding the game Hangman. And so to check the results, we can compare them to the sample output in problem set 2. So if we open our problem set 2, in the bottom there's going to be a sample output, and we can compare it to this. You can also modify your code so that the user has more guesses, warning, etc. Remember that this is our code and this is your code now, so you can modify it however you'd like to give it additional information or additional outputs to make the game better.